So, we're back home and we put all the magnets on the fridge. You should totally try this cookie recipe, by the way, but keep in mind it is a quadruple batch. And now, it's time to sell the van. I listed it on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but there have been very few bites. All of them were from Facebook, none from Craigslist. The secondary market is pretty small in the Kootenays. That's why I bought a ton of used Lego before we moved out here. Spring is supposed to be a good time to sell a camper or RV, but even with that going for me, I didn't get a single person coming by for a test drive. Though I did get a few questions. Golden asked if the flooring is wood or vinyl. It's vinyl. I guess that was the wrong answer, cause that's the last I heard from her. Brenda asked if there was a toilet. There is not. Wrong answer. Look what came in the mail. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's so cool. I'm a pilot. I edited the listing a few times, removing unnecessary details and adding and moving photos. Deborah asks me how many miles it's got. I realized I accidentally removed that. I tell her and she says it's too high. The biggest issue preventing it from selling seems to be the high kilometers. But there's nothing I can do about that. Ben wanted to know how well a table can fit inside. I sent him some pictures, and I got no response. Mark asked to interview me for his YouTube channel. That's something new. But I said no. I'm already making videos about the van. You're watching one. And that's all the responses that I got after about 4 weeks. All the while, I'm slowly lowering the price. This is not good. Maybe I should just rent it out instead of selling it? I don't know. But I don't want to have to deal with cleaning and maintenance and worrying about things going wrong with such an expensive vehicle. Catherine suggested that I list the van in Burnaby for a week, near my brother's house. I also decided to pay for some Facebook ads to boost the listing. And it's working. I've gotten a few requests for test drives, which I scheduled for Tuesday, May 28th. That means I need to actually drive out there on Monday. You can do the drive in 8 hours non-stop, but I plan to do an easy 4 hours per day. This will be a solo trip. Catherine is staying home, because she's got a real job. I also have to pack light, because the cheapest way to get back home without the van is Mountain Man Mike's bus, and each additional bag is $20. This means no stove, no pillow, and most importantly, no giant peep. I'll miss you, Giant Peep. I love you, even though you do have this incredibly stupid hard plastic logo on your butt. Who signed off on this? Some executive that, look, it's got a tag already. I kissed Catherine goodbye, filled up on gas, and hit the road for the last time. Without Catherine, it's a lot harder to film on the road, but I can still do it with my little phone tripod on the dashboard. And then I wrapped it up in a hoodie so it doesn't get cold. Also, I brought the drone, but I can't get shots of the van moving unless I use the autofollow, which I don't really trust since the top speed is only 57 kilometers per hour, 35.8 miles an hour, and I'd be worried about it hitting trees, power lines, or terrain. I don't know. I still might try it. Until then, I'll just get shots of the van parked. Here's some cool shots of the Kettle Valley Railway Tunnel. Long since discontinued, it's now a fun little pit stop for road trippers and graffiti artists, apparently. I always use Highway 3 to get to the lower mainland, but this time I decided to take the scenic route through Kelowna. It looks like this is a big detour, but it's only another 37 minutes and 76 kilometers. So why not? I've got time. I did not know Kelowna was on a lake. Wow, a mistakewium of houses on that hillside. I learned the word mistakewium in a dream, and I was just looking for an excuse to use it. Kelowna is, I don't know, I don't like it. It's big, but not in a fun way, like Vancouver. Maybe there's just too much sprawl. And also, every hill is covered in mansions, so there are rich people literally looking down on the rest of us all the time. I'm sure they have a nice view. Anyway, I went to Costco. Haven't been to Costco for like 2 years. Always my favorite thing. I'm getting 2. The hot dog is still $1.50. I love traffic. Oh, traffic, billboards, and a satellite mall. It's just getting better. Finally, traffic thinned back out. Now on to Merritt for the night. I was going to sleep in this sad gas station.
There's something beautiful about this.
But then it turned out that my brother-in-law was in the area, so I hung out with him and we played pool. The next morning, I missed my exit on the way to McDonald's and had to take a 33-minute detour. Oh, look, it's down to 7 minutes. How did that happen?
Did I use one of these incredibly convenient turnaround spots to turn around? I guess we'll never know.
How interesting that the refresh rate on this sign is different for each letter. The shutter speed on the camera is set to be really fast because it's daylight, so that's why it doesn't look like that with your human eyes. I couldn't find a way to renew the Facebook Marketplace ad on mobile, so I needed Wi-Fi to use my laptop. It's been working, so I doubled up on the ad spend for the next 3 days. It's totally worth it to spend this money for such a large sale. I was actually really impressed by how well the Facebook ads worked, which I don't like admitting because Facebook is kind of evil, but there it is. The laptop battery still sucks, by the way, and the van's house battery is still fine. I've had absolutely no problems with it. My noon appointment canceled on me, but this guy was really weird already. Mr. Unavoidable Circumstances just seemed like trouble. My next appointment was for 7 p.m. This is on Monday, so now I can really take my time in getting down there. Sadly, it's raining a bit, so there's less opportunity to use the drone. The rain got heavier as I headed west. This is a temperate rainforest, and trees are noticeably taller.
It feels like I have been on this highway for years. I cannot imagine commuting on this thing every day.
With nothing else to do, I went to Langley Cineplex and saw Furiosa.
Whoa, what the What was that?
The Cineplex. It's huge. I do really like this place.
It's not doing well in the box office, but I thought Furiosa was really good. If you liked Fury Road, you'll like this one. One person in particular kept messaging me during the movie, which was annoying, but hey, that's the whole reason I'm down here. So I scheduled her showing for Wednesday. Brent was nice, not his real name. I'm using fake names for everyone. He liked the van, but he's from the USA, so importing is tougher. He says that that's the biggest barrier to him. He went back to the States to think it over. Then I went to my brother Trevor's apartment in Burnaby, and he has kittens. Ah, they're so adorable! I'm allergic to cats, but these ones are so cute I played with them anyway. Every time I don't have relevant footage from now on, I'm just gonna show kitten footage instead. Deal? Deal. Trevor wanted to play Marco Polo at 10:47 p.m., and then to escape the kittens, I slept in the van. Without a proper pillow, it's a lot more uncomfortable. I used my clean clothes as a pillow. It is a poor substitute. All right, Wednesday.
Breakfast is half of a chocolate muffin and a slice of bread with cheese. Can you tell Catherine's not here anymore?
I did a showing in Metrotown for a woman who is in the Yukon. I showed the van to her friend over FaceTime, so that was cool. But come to think of it, I could have just FaceTimed her directly if I had enough data, which I don't. I kept getting more requests. That ad I'm paying for has absolutely been worth it. I spent the rest of the day writing the script for the previous video and doing some light editing. One woman was asking for an inspection before she even saw the van. That's a good sign. I scheduled her for Friday. Brent messaged me and said he's going with another van. That's okay, considering how many other messages I've been getting. Maybe the price is too low for this larger market. Thursday, more messages from more interested buyers. I showed the van to a very nice couple from the USA who wanted it for 6 months of mountain biking and rock climbing. That's cool. They figured they could fit both bikes in the back. They were very enthusiastic and made the first offer I received on the van for 25,000 Canadian. Now, I don't know how to haggle, so I thanked them for their bid and told them that I would wait for the other bids to come in by the end of the week.
That was like a co-op a year ago.
There's so much construction.
This is the most beautiful co-op here. They're tearing it down. It's so freaking nice. And they just redid it.
Darn.
We don't own the land.
Oh, so they're putting it, someone's putting in a skyscraper.
Suckers.
One person, who we'll call Nancy, out of nowhere, told me she'd pay more if I held the van until Saturday, which I promptly agreed to, but I should have asked for a deposit. More on this later. Friday. I've got another showing today and a doctor's appointment downtown Vancouver. Isabel was really interested. She rolled up in a smaller van. And I asked, "Oh, so you're looking to upgrade, eh?" And she says, "Yeah, check it out." I did not take pictures of her van to respect her privacy, so here's some kittens instead. In addition to a bed, storage, and even a portable toilet, there was a large dog and bike inside. She says as soon as she puts the bike in, there is no room to move around. Isabel spent the most time of anyone looking at the van and test driving it, and she had the most questions. She said that she would renovate it a bit. She'd install a toilet and move the fridge further back. That's a good idea. There's far too much storage under the bed and it's only accessible from the back door, so you might as well make some use of it from the main cabin. Isabel said she was very interested but still wanted an inspection. I warned her that I did agree to hold it for the other buyer until Saturday noon. So I suggested that she wait until after that meeting to get it inspected, so she doesn't waste her money in case the other buyer chooses to buy it. She wanted the inspection done that day anyway. Then I had to make it to my doctor's appointment. Yeah, I still have a doctor in Vancouver. Long story, I have ADHD. It's really hard to manage. I'll make a video about it someday. After that, I dropped the van off at a Midas and then wandered around that area for the next 2.5 hours. What is up with these guardrails? We've got the straight ones, and then we have the one that actually works as a guardrail. Is it required by law that your guardrails be straight and that's why they added the extra ones? Because look over here. I can walk through this one. That's fine. But then this one is completely useless. You see? I don't remember Brentwood Mall being this nice. They really added some great stuff to it. They've even got a bunch of bike racks and a bike maintenance station. As usual, there are high rises going up all the time. There are always cranes on the skyline around here, so I guess all those people need somewhere to shop. I grabbed the van and drove back to my brother's place. Isabel told me she was willing to make a deposit to reserve the van, but I said no, not until Saturday. Isabel found this confusing, even though I had already told her a few times that I had agreed to hold the van in exchange for an offer above the asking price. Here's our text conversation if you care to pause and read it. This was me trying very hard to do what I still believe was the right thing, even though as I was doing it, I realized the catch-22. If I hold the van for Nancy until Saturday, and she doesn't like it after all, then she won't buy it. And then Isabel would know, and she'd be able to lower her bid since she no longer has that competition. So by not taking Isabel's offer immediately, I'm potentially sacrificing thousands of dollars. And indeed, my wife Catherine said that I should have just taken Isabel's offer. She said, "I don't think you're morally wrong, I just think you're naive." She also said, "I was thinking of the trope of a starving artist and realized, so this is how it happens." Anyway, this is why I should have asked Nancy to put down a deposit. Maybe even a non-refundable deposit? I'm still not entirely clear on how this all should work. It's business! Learn business skills! So I guess we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. Saturday! I'm really nervous. I've got a bad feeling about this. If I screw this up, I could lose both offers of $30,389 and have to fall back on the $25,000 bid. I've received no other bids. Well, one guy did try to lowball me for $8,000. You might wonder what the $389 is for, and I literally just put that on there to make it look like I had some very specific idea of how much to sell the van for. My mom and my wife are flooding me with advice on what to do, and I'm ignoring most of it and proceeding forward with my naive optimism. Though I did call ICBC for more information, which was good, because I learned several things which are not listed on their website. They said, never sell a vehicle with your plates on. I was totally going to let that happen if they didn't have transit insurance so they could drive back down to Seattle. Oh, that is on the website. Look, it's different steps for selling in Canada versus selling in the United States, okay? They said keep your own copy of the transfer form. I was gonna give her all 3 copies, because I don't know. And they also said you don't need a bill of sale. Some states do want them, and it's better if it's a bill of sale from that specific state, not from BC. Okay. Nancy from Seattle finally arrived, and she was really nice. She was super grateful that I held the van for her, even without a deposit. She agreed that she should have done that. After a tour and test drive, she offered to buy it for $2,000 above asking price, as discussed. With no inspection, I had included the old inspection report with the initial listing. So we filled out a whole bunch of paperwork, we both got our own copies of what we each needed, and Nancy sent me a bank transfer for the full amount. Unfortunately, cross-border bank transfers are slower than domestic ones, and it was already 1 hour too late for it to be processed that same day. It'll go through on Monday, the next business day, apparently. I did get the confirmation number, and I saw her send the transfer, and I checked her Facebook profile earlier to make sure she's a real person, so I'm pretty sure this is not a scam, but I did do the exact thing that my mother very explicitly told me not to do, which was allowing the buyer to leave with the van before I actually saw the money in my accounts. So keep in mind, none of this is a how to sell your van. This is just how I sold my van. I do not recommend you do it the way I did it. Aren't these kittens adorable? Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's just proceed forward with my naive optimism. And I said goodbye to the van. Here's the last photo ever taken of it with my camera. That night, I could no longer sleep in the van. I had to grab a spare mattress and sleep on the floor. But that's where the kittens are.
It's just kittens all over me because I'm warm. Ow. And they have claws.
Sunday. I did not get very good sleep. I kept getting used as a playground for 6 kittens with very sharp claws and teeth. Then I had to get up early at 6 a.m. to catch my bus. Unfortunately, the SkyTrain does not run so early on Sunday.
Thanks for the ride, Trevor. Van Hemert, my brother. It's too early. Ow.
I feel good. This is a good day. I'm sure the wire transfer will go through tomorrow. Let's just think about kittens. Oh, hey, this is special. This is the parking lot where I proposed to Catherine. This spot. Long story short, we had been apart for several months, and I had just driven over to pick her up from the bus stop. I knew I didn't want to be apart from her anymore. I didn't even have a ring. I decided just a few hours before. And she said yes. It wasn't spectacular, but it was romantic in its own way. I just could not wait. And now she's going to pick me up from the other end of the same bus line. On the way, we passed a lot of RVs for sale. Lots and lots of them. I could show you beautiful footage of British Columbia, but I'm just going to show you the RVs. Just kidding. Look at this sky. It's gorgeous. I'm sure the wire transfer will go through tomorrow, right? Right? We continue on, and the bus starts to heat up. It gets hotter and hotter. As a creative writing exercise, I relay the story to my family chat. I shall now enact a dramatic retelling. Arriving in Usyus now. Bus is way too hot. Driver is just blasting the heat. At least 3 of us asked okay, I'm not doing this. You can just read it. Look, it's funny, okay? I compare myself favorably to Captain Scott. I claim to have saved an entire busload of people from freezing to death. Also, I asked an AI to turn it into a video, which turned out absolutely terrible, and you should watch it. Alright, I'm home now. Turns out the bank transfer did not go through on Monday, but it did go through on Tuesday. But then it wasn't the full amount. Turns out Nancy had sent the amount in Canadian dollars, even though I said US dollars would be fine, and I told her she was depositing into my USD account. So the currency had been converted twice from USD into CAD and then back into USD by my own bank. This left me short by 418 Canadian dollars. So I called my bank and asked them to just undo the USD conversion on their side and give me the original 30,374 Canadian that Nancy had actually sent over, which is minus some transfer fees. After an hour-long phone call where a lot of stuff went wrong, they finally made it happen. I got the money, and now I can finally count everything up. I don't need to share any of these numbers with you guys, but I'm going to anyway. Unfortunately, my stupid accounting software is not letting me change entries from CAD to USD, so some of the totals are a weird mixture of the two, but even so, you'll get a general idea of how much the vacation cost. $2,000 on gasoline, $1,389 on food, which we could have reduced a lot, but we decided to eat out more often than not, $482 on etc., like showers, park passes, and the bus ride home, $4,700 total on the van, $4,474 on camera gear. Ugh, that's more than I expected. The grand total for the entire trip is $13,000, or $8,591 if we subtract the camera gear used to film the trip, because I still get to use that for other projects. So the big question is, was it worth it to buy and sell a van instead of renting? Technically, yes. I saved $2,300 by doing it that way, but only by the skin of my teeth. You saw just how difficult it was to sell the van, and it took me a week. If not for Nancy, I might have had to sell for $25,000, putting me $3,000 in the negative compared to renting. Although Catherine pointed out that renting might have been even more expensive than I first thought. Running those numbers again, we get $9.7 to $11.5 $1,000. That's a savings of $6,800. Wow, renting sucks. So, knowing this, would I buy a van again? Probably not. It's just too stressful. Anything can go wrong and it's all on you to fix it, whether you know what you're doing or not. There's another eclipse in Iceland in 2 years, and if we see that one, you better believe I'm renting a vehicle instead of buying. Also, how would you? It's surrounded by ocean. Will I do another workcation someday? Probably not. It's just too stressful. But I have zero regrets about doing this, and I had a lot of fun. Now, this is the end of the Eclipse Trip series. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. Give it a like. I don't know what I'll use this channel for in the future, but I guess we'll all find out together. See you next time, whenever that is, and whatever that is.